and welcome to Tokyo Inklings. My name is CY. You can find me on my website at tokyostationpens.com, or you can find me on Instagram at tokyostationpens and on Twitter at tokyostationmnh.
And my name is Jacob, and I am Foodafan on Instagram and also on Twitter, and I have a blog at foodafan.com.
Hello again, my name is Khuê, and I'm Mirai Cat on Instagram.
So it's so good to hear from you both. It's just in the middle of summer in Japan, actually. The weather, I think we had quite a nice cool July. It wasn't so hot, and then it turned into August, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, we're in like the apocalypse or something. So how are you guys surviving? Are you guys doing well in the heat?
Yeah, kind of. Every year I'm like it's my my second summer in Tokyo since we moved to Japan. But I spent 2 summers in Tokyo maybe 10 or 8 years ago. And every time I'm in Tokyo in the summer, I'm just like, what am I doing here? I'm just like burning and I don't look like a human being anymore. It's like a vegetable. I don't know. It's crazy hot.
I mean, the thing is, this year I feel like summer started a bit late. Usually the summer starts in July, right? Yeah. So I think this hot weather will continue until the end of August. And then, end of September. Yeah, end of September. And then hopefully in October we'll have some normal weather back.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too, because I'm working from home 4 days a week, but I don't have an air conditioner in the room with my desk, and that is becoming a bit of a problem right now.
Good luck.
Yeah, when we bought this house, the first thing we did was make sure that we had enough air conditioners. But anyways, we are here to talk about pens, and boy, do we have a lot of pens to talk about. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll start first. I recently acquired a Pilot Custom Heritage 92. It is the orange model, which has been since been discontinued. And I want to talk about this because I actually did quite a few modifications on this pen. I first replaced the clip with the ball clip that you find on the Custom 74, because I don't know about you, but personally, I'm a big fan of the ball clip. I know some people don't really like it and they prefer the kind of more traditional clip, but I think the ball clip is quite good because it's really easy to then clip into your pocket on your jacket. So for me, that's a superior clip. Whereas the kind of traditional conventional clip, I kind of have to, kind of pull at it and tug at it. And it's just not so comfortable for me. So I got that. Now I fit it with my Sai nib, which is the flexible 3-tine music nib that I make. And I fit it with that. And interestingly, because the feed of Pilot is notoriously dry, so instead I've replaced it with a vintage platinum ebonite feed, which I shaved down to fit into the correct shape. So this is quite a Franken pen. But it's interesting, and it's really great because it lies down a super wet line, which is great for the flex nib. But also I've noticed that using this nib, even though it's a full tank of a piston filler, I think I can write about let's say maybe a page and a half in Tomoe River A5. So it's a wet pen.
So did you say vintage platinum ebonite feed?
Yeah, I said vintage platinum ebonite feed.
Because I know that the 3776 came with ebonite feeds up until some point in time. I'm not sure when. Is that the feed
Correct.
You're using, or is it some other older platinum model?
No, that is the feed that I'm using.
Okay, but you cut it down to the right size then?
Yes,
okay.
I shaved it down, yeah, exactly. And so that's super wet, so I'm quite happy with that. Still, I had to do a lot of modifications even on the feed, but nonetheless, I'm quite satisfied with the results.
So how would you compare Platinum's Ebonite feeds to some of the others that you've used, so the FNF ones and the old Omas feeds and so on? Are there any noticeable difference to you?
I'm not a fan of the shape of the feed. I think that more elegant feeds have been made in the past. Especially, I'm a big fan of the Oma style Ebonite feeds and the Waterman style Ebonite feeds. And even the older, unnamed, unmarked Japanese pens, those feeds I really, really like. But, Platinum's, it does the job. It does the job, but I wouldn't say it's a beautifully designed feed. And then what else did I get? I got a lot of stuff. Most of it's not for me, but I got a lot of stuff. So I got a Fine Writing International pen again. But this time, one of my customers in Australia, he sent me a message. He said, "Hey, so I have this Sailor nib that I really, really like, but it's in a desk pen, and I hate the pen. So I'm wondering if you can just go out and buy me another Sailor and do a nib swap on it." And I said, I can do that, but it's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's just going to be a Sailor pen. So why don't we? So I suggested to him, why don't we do it on a Fine Writing International pen? And he said, "Okay, I'm down." So I ordered Fine Writing International, but originally I wanted to go to Itoya to buy the pen, but it was all sold out, which was a surprise to me because, like the week before, I went to Itoya, and it was still in stock, but this model had all sold out. So I got it from JetPens. I got it from jetpens.com.
But so the model you're talking about is the 5th generation, right? So the last faceted version.
Yes.
And they don't make that one anymore, right? That's out of production. So you're looking around for remaining stock, basically.
Yeah. In fact, I messaged Fine Writing first because when I speak Chinese, he speaks Chinese, so we kind of just talk. And I messaged him. I said, "Hey, do you still have any of this in stock?" And he said, "No, don't have any of it, and we're not going to make any more." And that's why I went to JetPens to get this pen. And my suggestion to my customer was, "Hey, why don't we rhodium plate this Fine Writing pen, because it's this huge brass pen, right, with a beautiful canvas, and I know it's supposed to patina on your hand, but rhodium plating could look pretty cool." So we did that, and I have to say, I really, really am satisfied with the results.
So you kept the pen?
No, so I'm gonna send it to him. But fortunately for me, I have a bunch of Fine Writing pens, so I'll be doing some experiments.
Nice.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm very, very impressed with the shipping from companies from the US, because I got a Franklin Christoph. I got Franklin Christoph 31 in antique glass. I ordered it on I ordered it on a Monday and arrived on a Thursday.
Wow.
But they always ship with FedEx, right?
Yeah, and it's incredibly fast. I have to say that this is completely different to my experience with European vendors. European vendors are just incredibly slow, like very, 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 very slow. I know, Khuê, you've been waiting on a pen for 2 years.
Yeah,
almost 3.
I can sell them.
Yeah,
I didn't like them anymore.
Yeah, I have to give props to the US vendors. They're just incredibly amazing at shipping. Even if I buy from Goulet Pens, gets to me within maximum 2 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, really, really, really impressive. But I like this pen a lot. I actually already have a Franklin Christoph 31, but mine is a special model without a clip in Italian glass. So Italian glass is the UV reactive one that turns purple in the sun. And this one that I got here is the antique glass, and it's a bit greenish in the tint. So yeah, I really, really like these pens. We've talked a lot about Franklin Christoph in our private time, but these pens, I think that they're one of the few US makers that do really truly unique shapes and designs.
So was this one of the like stockroom or like online pen event special pens, or was it just in the regular product line?
So this was a stockroom pen. And one thing that I've noticed with Franklin Christoph is that their website is a bit misleading. So if you click on the website and you click on products, there's a page called fountain pens and there's a page called stockroom. Yeah. But if you go to fountain pens, not everything is there. So the stuff on fountain pens and the stuff in stockroom are different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got this one from stockroom. And then on top of that, I went out and I got this Tsutaya Daikanyama and Sailor collaboration. It's a Tsutaya exclusive. I think they made 100 pens. It's called the Hyoto. And have you guys seen this pen?
I saw some picture on Instagram and I really like the blue socks.
Yeah,
the socks. Yeah.
But it doesn't have glitter.
No, so it's why I didn't get out in the heat to buy it. I prefer to stay inside in the AC.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. One of them is already accounted for, so I have one more left. This pen, I have to say, is extremely striking. It's extremely striking because, first of all, the nib is blank, but the finial is also blank. Now, if you look at Sailor finials, you'll notice that normally, you have the finial, of course, but where the Sailor mark is, it's actually a sunken piece into the finial. On this Hyoto, it's also sunken, but there's just nothing there. It's just blank. Okay. And then they have this frosted, matte frosted demonstrator barrel. And I think this goes back to what we were saying in the previous episodes, talking about Sailor Plus and their acquisition and stuff. Sailor's manufacturing is really not good. So I ordered 2 pens, but I inspected 6 of them. The reason why I had to inspect 6 of them is because in the barrel, 4 out of 6 of them had these manufacturing scratches. Oh, yeah? Which is a good reason why you should be careful when you use services like White Rabbit, who aren't so familiar with pens and they don't know to check. But, when you ask a person to go and they check, these scratches were very, very evident in the barrel, especially in a demonstrator barrel. And it looked like it was on the inside of the pens. So that was really, really bad. Fortunately, I was able to grab 2 which didn't have scratches. So, that was lucky of me that I thought to check the pens right then and there. But, it's a beautiful pen. Unfortunately, it does have some manufacturing defects on some of the barrels. So that's a bit sad.
So one thing I noticed about the pen is that it does look a bit like a YY Pen Club pen, right? And both, both of them. The barrel looks like the 10th anniversary one, but also the nib, it's faceless, right?
Yes, it's faceless.
And I remember I talked to Oyakata, who is the head of YY Pen Club, a while back, and I remember he said that he was a bit disappointed that certain retailers had copied faceless is faceless, right? But I think he was of the opinion that YY Pen Club they were the first ones to do that on Sailor pens, but then since then various retailers have followed suit and done faceless pens. So I'm not sure if that's the real story, if they were first, but it does look a lot like a YY Pen Club pen.
It does. I think copying is something that happens, and the next pen we're going to talk about, could be considered a copy.
Yeah, so this is I got early this week. So the new brass version of Moonman's T1. So I think late last year, maybe like December, this Chinese brand Moonman released the aluminum version of the T1, which kind of looks like a mix between a Kaweco Sport and a Fine Writing International. I guess more Fine Writing International, but the big difference is that it's a piston filler. And I remember I didn't quite like the aluminum version. I thought that the piston was a bit loose, and I thought the grip was a bit too slippery. But it was kind of promising design. And now this month they released a brass version, and I got mine, as I said, earlier this week. And so far I really like it. It's definitely it's more grip. And at least on my pen, the piston doesn't move as much, and it looks really, really nice. And you've seen this pen today. You got yours today too, right? So what do you think?
I love it. I think this is the best pen on the market for value right now. Only if you have a replacement gold nib, though. Because we know that Moonman nibs tend to be a bit boring. But the feed that they use is so good. I cannot stress this more. It's a box style feed, but it's so wet. And the nib that you have in it right now, which is a Sailor nib, which I actually tuned to be a bit drier when I messed with it this morning, because this morning I was working on it and the tines were a bit spread apart, so I put them together. But I noticed that whenever I use these feeds, the lines that it gives me are just so wet and so juicy. Delicious. Khuê, have you seen this pen?
Is it the one on Jacob feed? No.
Stories. And I think he also posted it. Jacob, you posted it on your feed yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, this one. Yeah. Seems nice, yeah.
It's so good. Jacob, with this pen, now you have a Sailor nib in it, and you're calling it the Sunken Sailor nib.
Yeah, so I got it back from you today, and you did, I think it was rose gold plating, but I think you were a bit of a rush. And then combined with perhaps an aggressive ink made it look like it's been, I found it at the bottom of the ocean. But it looks really cool, right? I really love the look on it, and as you said, the Sailor nib fits the feed just perfectly, and it's a wonderful combination.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at your stories, you always manage to make these pens look, better than their product shots. I think people need to hire you to do this.
Yeah.
But
we'll be all poor.
Especially that contrast that you got on the nib. I mean, everybody, you guys, you need to look at this. You put it on stories though, so it's going to disappear by the time we post the episode. So you can kind of make a post out of this.
Yeah, I did actually do a tweet too, so we can link to the tweet.
Excellent, excellent.
Or you can
maybe a blog post.
Maybe we'll see.
But the choice of the ink, this blue bright ink with this dust nib is really good.
Yeah, that's Sailor's Sailor.
Okay. Nib. Very nice.
A very Sailor combination. Yeah, it's a wonderful combination, and as you say, it's weather righter than any other Sailor I have. So I love it.
Yeah, and then you've got another Sailor to talk about.
Oh yes. So I got once again. I've been on Yahoo auctions and found one of these large size 14K Sailor nibs. But what's unusual about this one is that it doesn't say, it has no marking. It doesn't say if it's fine, medium, or broad. I did a post about this, an Instagram post, and then Atsaichu on Instagram, he commented and said, "Yeah, I also have one of those without any markings." And he posted his, and it turns out that the date stamp is the same. I'm not sure if that's a coincidence or it was this 1 month where the machinery broke down or something. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know what happens to these nibs, but it's kind of medium-ish. I really
but yours is the large size.
This is large size, yeah, exactly.
And his is a small
size, yeah. And I know that you are interested in this nib. You may want to do some modifications eventually.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready to sell.
Sure.
So, Khuê, did you get anything in recently?
I
think not.
Not fountain pen, but I ordered maybe 2 months ago some like wooden dip pen from Garage Wood Studio, and I just got them, and they are just wonderful. So
what do you use them for?
Like calligraphy usually. Oh, sorry, it's Garage Woodworking, not studio. And one is in Yakusugi, so the from Yakushima, this cedar, I think, cedar trees, and the grain of the wood is just incredible. The lines and the color is very nice. And the other one it's I don't remember which kind of wood is it, but it's more light wood, and they are really I already ordered from him maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and he really take care of he has a lot of picture of my hand, how I hold my pen, which kind of nib I'm using it. So one I would like to use with monoline, so I think I have to order some monoline nibs and play with this. And I'm looking forward to use them, but no fountain pen during this summer, which is good. I can save a bit.
But, as our resident ink Numa, I have to ask you, what do you think about glass pens? Because I think Jacob and I are seeing a trend where, more and more glass pens. I mean, there's always been a lot of glass pen makers in Japan, but they seem to be exploding in popularity. Yeah,
it seems like compared to 1 year ago when I knew maybe 2 or 3 brands who are really like historically sensei of glass makers. Now you see a lot of younger, like our age or maybe a little bit older, who used to work with glass, but doing maybe sculptural object, necklace, like pendants and stuff like that, and turning into fountain, like a dip pen, glass pen. It's kind of a trend, maybe linked with the explosion of ink event. So people will buy this kind of pen to test or draw or write small notes with it. And I was really surprised that small shop will make their own very simple, like not even a glass artist, or because some of the pen are really artwork, like you can see the work on the glass itself, like making color, shape, different shape. The one I have would have some dry flowers inside the handle, And now you have like even Kyono Oto ink, who has their own very simple one. We saw this brand who do glass recipient, Hario. They start to maybe some months ago they made their own pen with their own glass ink filler, a pot. And you see a lot of these accessories around inks since maybe 6 months or 4 months ago.
So tell me, are you going to be a glass pen Numa?
No, I already have 2 of them, and I'm really happy with them. So I don't think I will need more. But
okay, but what was released last week is Glass Studio 2's The Ribbon Nib.
No, I haven't seen this one.
It's already sold out very fast.
I sent it to you, and you said you needed it.
I don't know which one you said. The small.
Yes.
No, wait.
But what's interesting about that one is if you look at the nib is in this like ribbon shape, and it gets cut out into like an italic, or like a super broad, flat edge nib.
On Venturi,
Yeah. So I sent this to the group, and this nib, this pen, feels good.
Yeah.
So I went on the day. Actually, I didn't know what was happening, but I happened to be in Ginza on the day of. And then I saw Bitchori's story. I was like, whoa, okay, I've never seen a glass pen like this before. I need to have it.
So you have it?
And No, so I went to Tsutaya, and they didn't have these short ones left. These short, cute ones.
Yeah.
They only had the long one.
Okay.
And I just felt that the long one was not really balanced in my hand, so I was a bit disappointed. But I was told by Tsutaya there that this is actually a Senko Hatsubai, so it's a pre-sales.
Okay.
And that Glass Studio 2 is going to make more of these in, I think they call it the taketori shape.
Okay. Wait, taketori, yes.
Yeah. And I commented on one of their posts saying, yeah, please make some more. And they said, yeah, I'm hoping to make so many that people will be lining up outside the shops. So, this is hopefully something that I'm going to be able to get in my hands soon-ish. Who knows? But another one of our friends, Keiko, has also sent me a message saying that she needs this pen.
So you and I talked about this offline earlier today, but I think the active fountain pen community here in Japan and the Inkunuma community has sort of diverged a bit. I mean, they were always a little bit different, of course, but I think there was more of an overlap before. You had these Inkunuma people even coming to the Wagner events, and they were using, Kakunos and Preppies and so on. But I think now it's more into glass pens. We saw that, for example, with the most recent Tonu and Limbs online ink show, right? So the first one for about fountain pen inks, the last one was all about glass pen ink, because they sell their own ink that is only for glass pens. By the way, our friend Alessa has done a fantastic review of one of those inks. We should link to that. But they also seem to be targeting glass pen users too now. So it's sort of bit of divergence we're seeing.
Yeah, so I've looked a bit into those inks, and I think the main difference between the glass pen and the fountain pen ones is that the amount of shimmer that they put in. And I would agree with you that the ink crowd and the pen crowd has always been a bit separate. We've, I think that we're beating a dead horse here, but Wagner is really old for old people, and they just haven't modernized. They haven't gone with the program, and truly I think it's a lost opportunity, because if it weren't so closed as a society, then I think a good chance that these people would have become dedicated fountain pen users. But instead they've, as you say, split off and kind of leaned their lean more towards the glass pen, which is just as, if not a bit more expensive. But they see it as a no hassle, you can change inks easily, and generally much more welcoming, more young and more female.
Yeah.
And that's where the market is at.
Yeah.
But the one thing I've always wondered about the Inkunuma community is that you don't, at least I haven't seen a lot of pilot parallels. I would have thought that would be more popular, but you always, at least not on Instagram, you rarely ever see that.
I think it's because you can't write kanji.
You can't write kanji, but if you look at some of those Inkunuma people, and we always come back to Bitchore, he's doing a lot of Western calligraphy too, right?
Yeah, so you notice though that his ink swatches always start with parallel.
Right.
And then it goes into the monoline. But the majority of what he's writing, even in English, is monoline.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he has some Chinese, Japanese writing in there. So I don't know. I just feel like glass pens are more versatile than a parallel. Yeah, I personally like the parallel a lot more. I don't really like the way that glass feels on paper, and I'm always afraid to break them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But then in addition to that, we've got actually a lot of news here, surprisingly, since I put together the show notes yesterday. But Boombox, the pens that we talked about, they've been released. Omotesando Blue and Sanctuary Blue. Khuê, have you seen these pens?
Yeah, on Instagram.
What do you think?
I'm not particularly interested.
Really? Even though they're shimmery?
Yeah, I don't know why. I not enough shimmer for me. I need more shimmery. No, I don't know why it didn't. Yeah, didn't wake up anything, any feeling.
That's really interesting. Maybe you are post shimmer.
Yeah, maybe I saw a poster from Alicia, and I was like, yeah, maybe, yeah. No, I don't. I think I still like my shimmering pen, but they are really, really, really shimmering. So when I see shimmering pen that are not as much, it's not enough. I need a step higher now.
Okay, that's interesting because I've already gotten 2 orders.
Yeah, this. I think you told me offline.
Yeah, I got 2 orders for
Sanctuary.
The Sanctuary Blue. Omotesando Blue doesn't seem to be super, super popular for some reason.
Maybe the Sanctuary Blue is too turquoise for me, like too light, and I prefer them a little bit darker. Like, I don't like when you see the whole... Before I had a lot when it was most transparent and you see the whole skeleton inside the cartridge or the... And now I prefer them to be a little bit more translucent and like the Shishikura-san ones, yeah. Or the one from Pen Point, who are more translucent and like the cocktail black velvet one, the dark brown I have.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I like them. I think a lot of people commented to me about the Naden sea turtle.
Yeah,
which was a very nice touch, but as they are non piston pens, I have no interest in them personally, but I do hope that they sell well. But I think Kaoru-san was quite excited about these, and I personally actually like Omotesando Blue a bit more, regardless of the turtle. But I think it's also a bit less translucent than the Sanctuary.
It looks like the one I have from Usagiya. I have a Galaxy Blue edition, and it's this kind of very dark sky blue sky blue. Yeah.
Then speaking of original pens, Shishikura-san, she recently teased her next collaboration with Sailor. So we know that you're going to get this.
But I saw that she put on her Instagram that she doesn't open yet for reservation. We have to wait until September. So I think the message was clearly addressed to me, like, don't send me message now.
But what did you think about the color? Because we only saw the material.
Yeah, I think it will be the same as the last one she made for the Sakura spring one. Yeah. So 3 color part Sailor. I guess the transparent orange, a bit orange, will be for the cap, and the more translucent, like more yellow part, will be for the which one? I don't know. There's one who's more red. Yeah, just have to check.
Do you like them?
Yeah. I think it would be a nice autumn feeling pen. So yeah, the yellow mustard yellow will be for the socks, and the red with silver glitter will be for the body, I guess. It will be similar to the Sakura model.
Yeah, and a lot of the times this show feels like it's like a Sailor show, because Sailor just comes out with so many limited editions and new editions almost every week. And we actually went and asked Kaoru-san, why not do more with Platinum? With Pilot. And she told us that Pilot are actually very, very picky.
Oh yeah?
About who they collaborate with. So Pilot are willing to do like 1st anniversary, 5th anniversary, 10th anniversary stuff, but like 7th, 8th, 9th, no, they're not interested.
Okay.
but we do have, and this was released earlier in the year, but somehow this had kind of flew over my head. There is this company there's a stationery store in Shizuoka called Yotsuba, and it's apparently their 70th anniversary this year. And they made a pen with Pilot.
Okay.
And I think this pen is called the Koki. And this is a size 10 pen.
Ah, the one with the flower on the underneath, engraved flower underneath.
Yeah,
seems nice.
Yeah. I don't know if it's called Koki or Koki Murasaki, but in the description it says brackets Koki. So I'm not entirely sure. What draws my interest about this pen is that it's a ring top pen.
Yeah, and the price.
Yeah, the price. But it's a urushi pen.
Yeah, it reminds of the vintage Waterman or Omas ladies pen.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And it's an 18K ring top pen. What do you think about this, Jacob? I know that this is not your style of pen, but what do you think about that? You know, they're actually doing these out of the box things that normally we don't really hear of.
Yes, I got the impression when we talked to Kaoru that it doesn't make much sense, financially for Pilot to do these limited editions. It's more a way to sort of reward loyal retailers every once in a while, and maybe this is one of those projects. The pen looks, it's a bit unremarkable, I think, but it still looks nice. I'm most interested in the fact that it's an 18K number 10 size nib, which is kind of unusual, right? The number 10 size is usually 14K.
Yes, that's correct. And I believe they made, I think, 100 of these.
Yeah, I guess so too.
And only 28 are left. So these were surprisingly popular.
Are you buying it because of the way the pen looks, or are you buying it because of the historical value, your knowledge about this retailer? I'm not sure, because if you just look at the pen as is, I don't know. It looks a little bit boring for a major anniversary pen, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think what's interesting to me is that they didn't at all. Yeah, that was quite quite interesting. Oh, what I'm just reading this now. This is actually based. The model is the one that they did for the anniversary pens, the Pilot's 100 anniversary pens.
Okay.
That's Shichifukujin.
Ah, yeah.
So Shichifukujin had a set of ring tops if you bought them, I think as a set or something. So, now it makes a bit more sense that it's a ring top. But yeah, I think, I'd say, unremarkable looking pen, but we now understand a bit more the rationale of Pilot doing these at all.
Yeah.
A couple more points. Ink Numa tickets went on sale this morning, Saturday morning, and we got some tickets. So I think, Khuê, you and I will be going Friday morning.
Yep.
And Jacob, you'll be going Saturday.
Yeah, Alessa and I will be going Saturday morning, yeah.
Great. Is there anything that you are hunting for?
Not yet. Like, I didn't check what will be released. I think I will do it the day before or even the morning. Like last time we were queuing. Like, what is it, like, new or something? So yeah, just for fun. Not nothing in my head yet.
What about you, Jacob?
So I remember when I got that recent ink magazine, which had this list of all of these obscure regional inks. There were some that looked interesting. I remember I wrote them down somewhere, so I need to find my notes, and that's going to be my shopping list.
Yeah, and I'm very excited about a few. I think Yotsuba, the one that we just talked about, could be interesting. But I'm excited to see Pentanoto. I wonder what they're going to bring to the stage, because they always come out with quite interesting stuff. I'm interested in Joyful 2. Joyful 2. I'm interested in Hachimonjiya.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I am also interested in Usagiya.
Oh yeah, the one that are too far
Yeah.
to get.
And then they have this Taiwan, I guess, ink studio. Oh, these are the eye papers. Yeah, I'm not so interested in the eye papers.
The packaging are
Eye
nice.
papers are. Yeah, but it's highway robbery.
Yeah.
They're very expensive in
so-
Japan.
Yeah. I remember like almost twice.
Yeah. So hopefully this time I'll be able to get an interesting Joyful 2 ink.
Last time I got a very nice blue from them.
Oh, which one?
I have to remember the name now. Wait.
But Jacob, interestingly for you, maybe Kamiteria is gonna go.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I remember last time there was a lot of paper. There were, actually, Tomogawa was there, and then there was some French pen.
This French paper.
And they did a few others too. So that might be something I'll be buying too. But I mean, last time my plan was just to buy one purple ink, and I ended up spending like over 20,000 yen on ink. So
Yeah, the fact that I really like the fact that you pay at the end, because then you don't need to take out your wallet at every counter. But at the end, when you got the final bill, it's kind of a shock.
Yeah, that's what makes it so dangerous, right? Because you don't really know how much you spent until you go.
And you're just like,
there.
Okay,
Oops.
just go with it.
Yeah, for sure. But I, for one, am looking very forward to it. And they're also selling the Matsubokuri glass pen with the ink filled inside. So that's going to be cool as well.
Oh,
But so just one quick thing I noticed, going back to what we talked about, how the fountain pen and the ink numeric communities are sort of diverging a bit. So last time, when you got the ticket, you got a free fountain pen, this rebranded Jinhao called Fonte, right? So this time you're getting a rollerball instead.
Okay.
Ooh, why?
But the ink one, the one that you can ink yourself, right?
Yeah, I assume that's the case. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
found the two ink labels. So it was Katashina Lapisu, and the other one Nemophila Blue. And I was really surprised because on their test they are really different, but when I test them on Tomoe River, they seem identical. So I was like, maybe they make a mistake when they put the label on one of the bottles, because they are really exactly the same, but not on their image. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. So, Jacob, you found some interesting things about Kanesaki.
So Kanesaki was previously he worked for Eboya, and if I understand correctly, he was the guy who made Eboya's Japanese style Inkidome eyedropper. So he did the pen turning. He also made Eboya's ebonite feeds, and then he 3 or 4 years ago he quit, and since then Eboya has been selling simple cartridge converters with standard Bock units. And Kanesaki set up his own shop somewhere in Saitama. He's doing mostly pen repairs and so on. And he's posting on Twitter every once in a while about new products and new things he's doing. And earlier this week, he did a post about how he had made his own ebonite feed. And he has fitted that on a pen that takes, I think it was a Jovo or Bock unit, and fitted on a standard nib assembly, which looked very, very promising. And you talked before about these, vintage Japanese ebonite feeds, and this looks just the same as those, the old style ones, and that's part of the appeal, I think, about his feed. So I pinged him and asked, can we buy these feeds from you? And he replied that, yeah, you can either just buy them as is, or I can help you fit this feed on one of your nib units. I was meant to contact him again about actual prices, but I haven't gotten around to do that yet. But I might be interested in buying one of those feeds.
You should definitely do so, because I'm very, very interested at the price. If you are interested in pens in Japan and the real, like, deep pen hobby, you shouldn't be following Mori-san's blog. You need to be following this guy's blog, because he is insane. This guy, he can remake any part. But he's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
I messaged him once about remaking a 144 barrel, and he quoted me $800.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, nope. But the guy is crazily talented. He makes everything by hand, and he'll take the broken parts and he'll just make new ones. Yeah. And I don't understand how he's able to do this, but the parts that he makes looks almost the same as the original parts. So you can see all of the process, and the great thing is he takes pictures of all the processes.
Yes.
So you can see exactly how he's doing it. And, I'm just so impressed. So impressed by the way he's doing these. And I think Ebonite is his main tool.
Absolutely,
his main, how do I say it? Sozai, a material of choice. But, yeah. Even I think the Omas part that Khuê, you're looking for, he can probably make it.
Yeah, but you send me a link in German. I haven't ordered yet, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I really hope that you talk to him and he's able to give you a price.
Yeah. So hopefully I will have an update in the next episode.
And you know what? If it's not like over 5,000 yen, maybe we order from him instead of Flexible Nib Factory.
I have a feeling that it's going to be more than 5,000 yen. We'll see.
In that case, maybe we just need to order one or two. Yeah. So, and then last note on, or second last note on the news, Kingdom Note has moved.
Yeah,
Kingdom
again.
Note is no longer. Yeah. But their new shop looks really cool. So I'll have a paid holidays next week and the week after. So I think I'll stop by to check it out.
yeah, it seems really like the showroom of Takeo Papers or like this all white, a little bit medical feeling showroom. Mm-hmm. But I think they moved like once last year already, but they're still in the same area, but they are getting more and more closer to the main street, like not in the small street where you have Yodobashi Kameda and stuff, but they're getting from the main big street, so it's good for them.
Yeah, it's really good, and I think it's good because it shows that their business is actually
growing,
doing very well.
But they always have a very good customer service. Every time I went there, I was really happy with their service, and very nice, and they let you try all the pen and the ink, and very patient. So very good shop.
Yeah, so I didn't really have the best impression of Kingdom Note the first time I went, but they're growing on me. Mm-hmm. They're growing on me a lot. Yeah. And finally, I was talking to Mark Bacchus on Instagram, and he sent me a message, actually. He said, "Hey, do you know about these scratches on the clear platinum barrels?" And I said, "What? There are scratches on platinum barrels?" And he said, "Yeah, look at the clear ones, and on the bottom of the barrel near the ring, on every single platinum that I've inspected, there's been a long curved scratch." So I went and I looked, and every single one has a long scratch. Even my limited edition ones, even my Roka has it, my Châtre Bleu has it, my red one has it, and they all have it. My black one has it too. And his Shion had it. So we always think, and I was talking to Jacob about this, but we always think that, Japan has this great QC reputation. But we were saying that maybe, Pilot is just a step above the rest. Okay, what do you think?
So what is this mark like? Is it like kind of wabi-sabi style? Or
So we're not quite sure, honestly, but what Mark Bacchus and I discussed was it's probably a molding issue. When they're using when they're creating the pen, what happens is that because of the way that they're doing the injection molding, one part of the pen has a visible seam.
Okay.
So I just sent you some pictures through Line,
Okay.
and you can see very, very clearly that there's this huge
yeah.
crack. Not crack, but
Line,
scratch.
yeah, kind of
Yeah,
scratch line.
and it's curved. It's not straight.
Yeah.
And the low def pictures are my pictures, and the scratches, they're gigantic. I can't believe I didn't know this.
I have to
the
check
scratches
mine.
before.
I have one platinum.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be on there, but you have to really look really closely.
Okay.
Yeah, and on some colors it's harder to see than the others. So, for example, on my BS pen, it's much harder to see,
Okay.
but it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then, going then from platinum to our main topic of the day, which is Nakaya.
Yay.
We like Nakaya, I think. Nakaya produces some of the most beautiful, beautiful pens on the market. But I think a lot of people don't know that it's actually a relatively new brand.
Mhm.
Nakaya was started in 1999, so this year is their 21st
Mhm.
anniversary. And the concept behind Nakaya was that they wanted to do something for their employees who had worked at Nakaya for a long time.
Yeah, I guess was mostly a retired craftsman specialized in urushi and makie.
So that's what a lot of people think, but that's not
Oh,
true.
okay.
Yeah. So I'll get onto that in a bit, but a lot of these companies in Japan, like traditional companies, you're forced to retire when you reach a certain age. So these are kind of the retirees, as you say, who are working at Platinum for a very, very long time. And they still wanted to keep working on pens, but they had reached the retirement age. So they started up Nakaya. And one of the interesting things is that when they were established in 1999, one of the first things that they did was establish a net shop. They established an internet shop, e-commerce shop, before everybody else. So Nakaya got more famous in the West first versus the others. And I think that's very interesting because they're very for a company that's made for old people, they were surprisingly ahead of their time. And I was doing some reading on Nakaya and Nakaya's history, and it turns out that when they were making these pens, and a lot of customers said they wanted urushi on the pens and maki on their pens, so they collaborated with urushi artists in Wajima.
Okay.
So my understanding is that there's no urushi done in Tokyo, which is where Nakaya is based out of. So their urushi is Wajima urushi, and it's a collaboration between the Nakaya company and an artist in Wajima. So to my understanding, what Nakaya is doing is that their pen professionals are making the bodies and tuning the nibs.
By hand.
Yes, by hand. The actual urushi work is done in Wajima, but the design is probably still negotiated with Tokyo.
Okay. Good to know.
So that's a brief history and background. I know that I've been very tempted in the past to buy a Nakaya. I first saw one in Itoya where the fountain pens were still in Itoya K. And I remember seeing this Nakaya desk pen. It was a black pen, clipless. I was like, wow, that's a cool pen. I really, really want to buy it. But at the time, I think it was $400. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, I can't afford this pen. It's $400. God, if I saw a Nakaya at $400 today.
And the price raised a lot since the beginning.
Yeah. So I've never bought a Nakaya before, but Khuê, I know you have 3.
Yeah, 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about how you decided to buy the Nakaya. I mean, when did you hear about it? Is it something that you've always wanted? You know, what's the story behind it?
Yeah, so I discovered it when I was still living in Switzerland by their online. I think I saw someone posting something on Instagram, and then I discovered their website. And so I bought my first Nakaya at Itoya when I was traveling to Japan, maybe 2014 or 2016. I don't remember exactly. And
so when it was still affordable.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think mine was around $400, and it's it's a cigar writer urushi Nakaya, so without clip, and the name of the color, because I never remember, it's the like dark red urushi. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is my first one, and I bought it because it was my own gift for my PhD diploma. Mm-hmm. And I really like it. Like I think the nib of Nakaya are really spectacular. Like I like sailor nibs too and pilot. Not but the Nakaya one is so comfortable to ride with because like they, I don't know if they. I bring it to a Nakaya clinic, so the sensei there asked me to hold my pen and how I use it for writing it. So I think they, grinded to fix my pen position. Like, so it's really comfortable to write with, and the nibs are really smooth, like butter smooth. So you can write a long time without getting tired, at least in my opinion. Like how I feel it, and so yeah, it's a very wonderful. I really love it. And when I was back in Switzerland, and all my friends saw me writing with it and asked me, "What is it? What kind of pen is this?" And they hold it. And for Western pen users, you are really shocked by how light this is. The urushi, like the Japanese kind of pen, because in the Western countries you are more used for heavier fountain pen like Mont Blanc or Pelican. They have a certain weight in your hand, and this is really like feather. I don't know. You don't feel it. You don't feel the pen in your hand. I think Jacob won't appreciate it, especially this very light pen. But for me, it's really convenient when I need to spend hours writing something, taking notes, and it's really my favorite pen for that. And the other one I got. It's all in secondhand, thanks to Yahoo Auction and Mercari. And one is it's really the same model, but with the clip, so the writer version, not the cigar version. And it's all black, so maybe I bought it very cheap, like for a secondhand price, like something like $200. And it still have, I think it belonged to someone's grandparents because it still have the old nib, like Nakata, engraved on it. And I bought it because you know the story, because I dreamed to have the panda roller on my pen. So it has a clip, so I was like, yeah, it's a black one, so I can have a panda on it, and I will be really happy. But as it's an old version, they didn't put the screw under the cap the same way as they did for the new pen. So the panda has to be attached on the bottom of the cap, not on the top. So it doesn't work with this. So I was so disappointed. I'm still really happy with the pen, but I was so disappointed that I cannot put the clip on this pen. And the two others I looked for them for a long time was the Decapod Piccolo or the Mini Decapod. There's two different names, but it's the Decapod model that they don't make anymore, who has the smaller size, so 13 centimeters and not 16. So, yeah, there's two sides. And the Decapod Mini or the Decapod Piccolo, they don't make, like, for 3 years, they don't make it anymore. So I was really happy to find them on secondhand.
Yeah, so I think they have 3 sizes. They have the
Piccolo.
They have the Rider, the Portable, and the Piccolo, right? And the Rider is the long one.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's not the one. That's not the desk pen one. The desk pen is even longer.
But right? I guess the Rider and the is it not the same? The Rider and the I forgot now.
So one thing that I read on Shumibun was that one of the special things about Nakaya is the way that they make their threads. Interestingly, they say the threads are a 4-start thread versus a 1-start thread, which means that your cap can go in on 4 directions, but it's also it uncaps faster. So that was a feature that they were looking for when they were making this these threads. So I thought that was very, very interesting that they decided to do this. And the name Nakaya actually comes from one of their they call it yago in Japanese, but it's basically kind of like a nickname for your production house, which was called Nakaya when Platinum was established in 1919. So everything really harkens back to the back in the day, including the Nib imprint, which had the mark of the earth, and that was a Platinum design back in the day as well. So, Nakaya really has won the hearts of many people in the fountain pen community, including you, because it's something that uncaps easily, and I know a lot of people really appreciate that. As you said, it's very, very light. I think I picked one of yours up once, and indeed, it was super light. And the Urushi work with their collaboration with the Wajima artists really is, I think they are not the same kind of makie as Kokai, which are more commercial and they make more the same. But here, I think everything is mostly one of a kind.
Like one of my dream model is the Galaxy one with this Milky Way rad and So the 3 size is a long, portable, and piccolo, and the desk pen is another level, like another.
Right, another
exactly.
Style. Yeah. So, you particularly, I think, you go to Nakaya clinics for a very particular reason.
Yeah. So I go maybe once a year when at least when I'm in Tokyo, and it's I like to go and ask them to check the pen, like just to see if there is no. Sometimes, you forget an ink inside and you let it dry a little bit longer. And even if you wash it one night or trying to really wash it, there's still something like inside your pen or your nibs. And so sometimes they just check if everything is going well. So they have very good customer service too, and very they will check in details and make you try your pen and everything. And we were together at Itoya, so you can see that they were quite professional. Yeah.
But so this is very interesting to me, because what you're describing is basically like an annual health check for your pen.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So you go there even if you don't have a particular problem with the pen, you go there to like give it a checkup, see if it's fine. And I think that see, well, I think you and I talked about that before, because we heard from other people that they do that too in Japan, especially these retail pen clinics. People go there not because they have a problem, but because they want like a checkup to make sure if the pen is fine or needs some attention.
Yeah, and the sensei, he changed on one of my pen. I think it was the second-hand one I bought. He saw that the feeder, right, the black part, under.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the feed was maybe too old or a little bit damaged. I guess because when I bought the pen, it was still some dry ink inside. So he changed it. He changed the part for free. Like he just replaced it and green a bit the nib and just test with some ink if the flow was good and asked me to write some word to see if it's okay. So it's like, a health check before it getting damaged. So I think it's good. Well, at least when you pay this kind of price, and even now with the price raised a lot, it's kind of very good customer service that Japanese people and others really appreciate.
But so you mentioned that you bought some of your pens second-hand, so that doesn't matter at all for these pen clinics?
No, they don't ask me where I buy it or anything. They just see that it's a Nakaya pen, and that's it.
That's nice.
Yeah, they don't ask you anything. Sometimes you have to wait a bit because you have to, there's a waiting list. So last time, I think there were 3 people before me, but everyone take maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes max.
Right.
And
except the guy right in front of you.
Yeah, the guy right in front of me bought a new pen, and he really want to talk with the Nakaya sensei, and he stay a long time, maybe 35 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a long wait. But you had your pen checked by Yoshida sensei?
I guess so. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, Yoshida-san. Is he always the one?
I at least at Itoya, and once during Maruzen pen show, I met him too. When there is the pen clinic, it's often him. Sometimes there's a woman. I saw her once at Maruzen too, but when I met, when it was my turn, it was him.
Okay. Because he's the famous one. He's like the Nagahara of Nakaya.
Yeah, exactly.
And they call him the pen designer.
Okay.
And he's known also for using grindstones. So he doesn't have a rotary tool. He grinds everything by hand.
Exactly.
But I don't think he will change the pen points to be like italic or whatever.
No, I think for that you have to pay a service. Like you can book for this kind of if you want to change your nib, and then you have to pay something like a service. Yeah. But for like maintenance, it's for free. Like I didn't know the first time, but they never asked me anything. So I guess.
But I have to ask you though. You mentioned that the nib is spectacular, but as far as I know, they're exactly the same nibs as the platinum nibs.
I'm not sure for that. Because I know that 2 of my nib are elastic one, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure platinum make this kind of nib on their pen.
So I think that it's a platinum nib, and then they made the cutouts.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but the base of the nib, as far as I know, the shape is exactly the same. So you can take a platinum nib and put it in a Nakaya. I don't know why you would want to do that. Or you can put a Nakaya nib into a platinum, which, maybe that makes more sense if you have a platinum that you really like. So that being said, personally, platinum nibs are not my favorite. Because I think their tipping is very, very soft.
Yeah.
And the nib itself, the alloy is very, very hard. But what do you think?
I don't know. Maybe with my writing, like I write cursive, and when I take notes, I take very fast notes. For me, it's like butter. Like the contact on the paper is really. I don't need to put any pressure, and it's just like sliding, and I can write really fast with it. And the fact that the pen is really light maybe make me like I don't get tired after 1-2 hours of taking notes. So for me, it's really like for my writing is really good. I don't know for Japanese or Chinese character how do you feel Egypt, but I really like the contact on the paper, the fact that it's really smooth and that the nib has some bouncy a bit. Yeah.
But what's the difference between that and a platinum nib?
I have one platinum only, but yeah, I guess they are similar maybe, but my platinum one is more hard. I really like it. I use it quite a lot too. I really like it, but I bought it after, so maybe I am what's the biais?
Biased,
by Nakaya, but yeah, it has kind of more sentimental.
But so does this elastic nib have cutouts on the sides?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have. Yeah, and one of the nib I have is a soft medium, I guess, if I can read the kanji. Yeah, soft medium, and it has a very good bouncing too.
Nice.
And I heard that ordering from Nakaya's online shop is very, very straightforward, and the communication is very, very good.
Yeah, I heard it too. A lot of my international pen pal or friends order directly on their, and they are. You have to be patient because they take between 6 months and 1 year. Especially if you order a special barrel, like special edition, Raden Makie or something. So it's 6 months to 1 year, but usually in 6 months they got it. So it's more like they do it as fast as possible, at least for the international.
Right. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And I'm ordering a Conid, so I know what it feels like. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I've got on Nakaya. Do you guys want to add anything else?
Yeah, that's it too.
All right. So before we go into the Q&A, we have a interesting news. So we met with Hiroko of Bookmondo this morning, and we can't tell all the details yet, but what I heard is that there's a very, very exciting collaboration that's coming out from Bookmondo. So for you Urushi and Naden lovers out there, should watch the space, because when we're allowed to announce it, you heard it from us first.
You like to tease people, right?
It's not ready yet, so there's that. But I can tell you that what she's doing is going to be one of a kind, and it's never been done before.
Yeah.
So be excited about it. All right, let's move to the Q&A. This one is from Angie Thinks from Slack. And I think this particularly is aimed at more Khuê and myself. She says, I want to know if it bothers the Japanese customers' sense of order as much as it bothers mine to have Kyo no Oto Inc.'s repeat series numbers. So for everybody that didn't know, Kyo no Oto Inc.'s all have numbers. And so it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever. So for example, Hisoku is number 7. But there are inks with the same number.
Yeah.
But 2 different inks. I think Urahairo and Moegiro are the same number.
Yeah. The reason is because they made some limited edition and they take the number that was following, and then once the limited edition was sold out, they continue with their normal line, but instead of continuing the numbers, they didn't want to break, I think, the numbers series, so they go back and took the number before. Yeah, I asked them the question once in DM because I was really confused too, because didn't I bought this color 2 months ago, but it wasn't the same color. And they explained that, yeah, sorry, we have some limited edition and blah, blah, blah. So, and they had the same with, they add like, after a while, they were like, okay, so this is a limited edition, we put 00. So we put it before all the others. And then they finish it and they were like, okay, but we will release it finally as the main line. So we'll add the 07, but it was the same as the 00. So in my series, I have a 00 in the middle of the other one because I didn't want to buy twice the same color. Yeah, so it's a mess. Yeah, it's a complete mess. I don't know why they did that, but yeah.
Yeah. So, Angie, to answer your question in short, yes, it bothers us a lot. Okay, so, Jacob, do you have anything to say about that?
Only that I never noticed.
Okay, so there you have it. The next question. Namotos from Instagram asks, from an outsider's perspective, the Japanese stationery market seems very limited edition / special edition heavy, especially with some of the big name makers, or when thinking about one-off or numbered releases. Is that common with other industries, or is it stationery and pen specific? Is there generally an expectation for bespoke work?
Yes.
Yes?
They love everything limited edition, from food to, I don't know, like pop-up stores, and people just like lining, queuing for hours when it's limited edition. I never saw it anywhere else. Like, even in Disneyland, people will queue for some kind of, I don't know, cupcakes because it's a limited Christmas or Halloween edition. And they would just go there to eat that or to take a picture with this cake, and it's crazy. I never seen it anywhere.
Yep. It's a national pastime.
And I think they're almost like a national sport. Like some people are paid for lining in. Yeah. I heard that for sneakers, this Atmos shop in Harajuku, they used to have this limited edition with Nike or different brand. And before before internet, like some people will hire homeless people or students to queue in front to buy 1 or 2 pair of shoes so they can like resell it or purchase it. Like, the one who has money to pay someone who queue for hours or even a night before. Yep. So they're crazy about limited edition. Yep.
Yeah, so this Japanese word gente is something you see everywhere. As you mentioned, clothes, you go to Uniqlo and you see like special gente t-shirts. You go to McDonald's and find a gente menu. Mm-hmm, exactly. You go to your local supermarket or drugstore and all kinds of gente items. Amazon is full of all kinds of gente items. Mm-hmm. I don't think it has that much to do with, that you want something that no one else has. It's more that this is the one and only chance to experience this or try this or eat this, and they love that.
Yeah, translator's notes. Gente means limited edition.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also I think with visitors, the things that they love the most are the limited edition Kit Kats.
Yeah, by season.
Yep.
Oh yes.
But I've noticed that all the limited editions are the same every year, so it means gente until next year.
But sometimes it's frustrating, like for ice cream. Like now it's the season. There is some ice cream I really love, but they only appear in winter, and I don't eat lots of ice cream in winter. Like it's not the first thing I would want to buy. But sometimes the summer, I say, oh, I really like this ice cream. I tested one last November, and you cannot find it anywhere because it's not seasonal. Like, it's not in July. You have to wait until winter. It's so crazy sometimes.
Yep. All right. And then Shani Pellet, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I'm very sorry. She says, or he says, they say, first of all, I want to express how much I enjoy your podcast. I just so happen to be searching through podcast listings for a new show, just a day or so after you posted your first episode. I've been listening to every show the day you publish them and find myself wanting more. I find myself especially drawn to information about pens and inks that are exclusive to Asia, especially the store-exclusive inks that are so hard to acquire in the US. So my question is more of a request. You touched on the process that one would have to go through in order to acquire these types of products, but I'm hoping that you might dedicate more time to reviewing the process in greater detail. I have no idea if this is even possible, but if there were a way for you to become the conduit by which someone like me could acquire something, say through your website, that would be truly amazing. But I do realize that may be more work than it is worth, and may not be even possible. Worth a mention though, at least in my mind. I'll close with one other request. Being that Fude Fan is one of the hosts, I assume you have a pretty in-depth knowledge about different Fude nibs that are available. I have acquired a couple of Fude nibs, and I enjoy them a great deal. However, I don't know much about the difference between Jinhao Fude and one offered by any other manufacturer. Some advice from you would be great to hear. Thank you so much for what you do, and I wish you all the success moving forward. Well, thank you, Shani. We really, really appreciate your nice comments. And so I think there are two questions in this question. The answer to the first question is yes. We can acquire stuff, and I am, in fact, actively acquiring things for people in the US at this moment. The problem is shipping outside of Japan is a bit difficult right now, but most people contact me through Instagram DM. Hopefully, I will have a page on my website soon that you can fill out. But the answer is yes, it is possible indeed. So reach out to me. The second question, which I think is also very, very interesting, Fudes. Now, Jacob, Fude Fan.
Well, you have quite a bit of experience with the Fude nibs too, but I would say on one end you have more of a wavered type nib, and another extreme is almost like a vertical bend, right? And some Fude nibs are definitely smoother than others. So like they mentioned Jinhao here, those are generally smoother than say Duke Fude nibs, I think. And then you also have these like mini Fudes, like these Pen BBS and D-like. So there are a few different variables here. I realized that even though I've been blogging about pens, I haven't really written much about Fude nibs. So maybe I should do sort of an intro to Fude nibs. But actually, CY, since you've been grinding Fude nibs, I'm curious about what your view on this and what makes a good Fude nib from a nib grinder's perspective.
Yeah, I think that we have very different experiences with Fude nibs. I'm usually working with gold nibs, and you have a lot of experience with the steel nibs, including even the one that you handed to Hiroko today, that you got from the ink studio. Now, before we start here, I have to say that Sailor makes two versions of the Fude nib, well, three actually, but at different angles. So they make a 40-degree angle and they make a 70-degree angle. I think that one is a artist nib and one is a writer's nib.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
For me, the higher angle is an artist's, is a writer's nib, because without the high angle, it's very hard to get the proper hot-eye stroke. I actually think that Fude nibs are the best for writing Chinese and Japanese characters. So I've made Fudes out of what is this? A Wing Sung. I made a Concord, I think. Made Fudes out of Jowo nibs, Pen BBS nibs. I'm doing some now on Pelican M800 18K nibs. Don't kill me. It was a double rod. I made Fude nibs now a lot on Sailor nibs. The most difficult part of grinding a Fude nib is that when you bend the tines up, the tines, they splay into a V shape. So you have to pull the nibs back together. And that is very, very difficult. So I know that Nagahara says he likes to start with a broad nib or music nib. for some weird reason that I cannot fathom. But because you need to pull the nibs together, I would very, very much prefer to start with a fine or an extra fine, because it means that I try to not touch the tipping. For me, a fude nib has to be very, very sharp on the tipping, otherwise you don't get a nice harai stroke. And then when I grind it, I also make sure that I round out the tine itself on the outside, not just the tipping, so that it's smooth.
I see.
Now, Jacob, you asked me many times, why do it on gold nibs? The answer is I have no idea. But I think that gold nibs, they are still a bit softer. So when I write, I can even vary the amount of ink that comes out based on my pressure.
And we have both talked about before that there's this Taiwanese pen maker, like
Artis.
Yes. They make a titanium fude nibs, right?
Yes, and I really, really want to try that because they look amazing. And there's this guy on Instagram called Ink Joy the Pen. He shows you how to use a fude nib. I've also done some posts as well on how to use fude nibs for my writing. So we'll link those to the show notes, but I really think that fude nibs are even better than naginata for writing Chinese characters.
One thing I'm wondering is what the name fude comes. So we know obviously in Japanese fude means a brush, right? But Sailor calls them fude de mannen. And in Chinese, I'm not sure what it is, but when you see the listings on eBay and Etsy, they usually call them like art nibs and calligraphy nibs. So I'm not sure who calls it fude nibs.
So, for Sailor, there's fude de mannen, and then there's naginata fude de mannen, right? So the naginata is the gold version. In Chinese, you call this the calligraphy nib. So people in the Chinese-speaking regions, they call this calligraphy nib. In kanji, it's sho. So it's shoho. But I think that for the West, calligraphy, right? It's a bit hard to define. So based on Sailor's fude nib, which I think brought this knowledge to the West, it's easier for people to call it fude nibs.
Right.
Yep. All right, so I think that's the episode. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I'm good.
All right, then thanks a lot for joining us. Again, this has been, a long episode. Filled with news, even though we really weren't expecting to talk so much today. But yes, we will be back in 2 weeks, so stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you more exciting news, and we always want to make sure that we deliver to you the best information from the Japanese stationery scene. And now, if you've made it this far, thank you very much. We have a request from us to you that if you like this show, please, find some time to tell a friend, tell a family member, somebody that you think will enjoy what we do. It really helps us with our outreach. It helps us get more audience. And, it's just a good motivator for us to keep doing the show. So thank you so much for your support. We don't read ads. We don't have any funding as of the moment. So the best way to pay us is to tell a friend and to help spread the word. So with that, my name is CY. You can find me on my website at tokyostationpens.com, on Instagram at tokyostationpens, and on Twitter at Tokyo Station MNH.
And my name is Jacob, and I am Fudafan on Instagram and on Twitter, and I have a blog at fudafan.com.
And thanks again, Sua and Jacob, for having me. My name is Khuê, and you can find me on Instagram at MiraiCat. Goodbye.
Bye.